Alright, today we're going to be going on a little cruise on my Lycaon Trx 2.0. I'm just going to be cruising around town, showing some of the fun local spots and telling you a little bit how I got into P.E.V.s and what I like about them. So let's get started on a ride. So currently we're riding on the Lycaon Trx 2.0. I bought this board about 2 years ago and I've loved this thing since I got it. It's pretty affordable when it came out for the power and specs it has, and I've put about 1,300 miles on it so far and really haven't had any major issues with it. The only thing that I've done with the TRX is upgrade the motors from the old TRX 2.0 motors to the upgraded 3.0 motors. I didn't really have any issues with them. I started to hear a little bit of squealing and my warranty was almost running out, so I decided to ask them if they had anything they could do about that. And they sent me actually 4 brand new motors. I only asked for 1 set, but then a second set came into my doorstep the next day, so can't complain about that. Unfortunately, the company Lycaon has gone under, so won't be able to get any more parts from them in the future, which means at least I'll have enough motors to keep me going. But before all that, it all started out on a P.E.V.s V3. The P.E.V.s V3 was my first electric skateboard. I asked for it for Christmas and ended up getting it. I was so excited to ride it that I was literally riding it while I was still kind of wet and gross out on the ground. I just couldn't wait. But that board treated me great. I remember whenever I sold it, I had over 1,000 miles on the board and I loved every second of it. Learned to ride on that through town, and I have already had some skateboarding, longboarding experience. Really took me no more than a half hour to pick up how to ride it, but obviously a lot more time to get good and comfortable with the board and get up to the top speed. After getting the P.E.V.s, making lots of friends and putting over 1,000 miles on it, I was hooked. And I knew I needed something with a little bit more power if I wanted to keep riding. There's nothing wrong with P.E.V.s, I loved it, but the range just wasn't enough for me and I would get stranded or have to walk home a lot of times on the group rides. So I started looking for something different. And that's how I ended up with this, the Lycaon Trx 2.0. This board has been great. I did lots of research on YouTube trying to find the best board. Obviously this is a pretty expensive hobby and I'm pretty young, so I wasn't trying to break the bank too badly, but this board is great. Had range of 35 miles, top speed of 31 miles per hour, and it was only $1,200 when I bought it brand new. And $1,200 for this board was a pretty good deal at the time. Things like boosted boards were going for much more, like $1,800 at the time for worse specs and less range. And Evolve was selling boards for over $2,400. This board has been great to me. Haven't had any real major issues, and I've loved it since. Yeah, later on in 2021, I got my One Wheel XR. That thing has been an absolute blast, and I loved it. The guy who sold it ended up having a pretty bad nosedive, and his wife made him sell. So I scored that XR for only $1,200, which I can't imagine finding one today for that price. So whenever I was looking around for new boards, I was kind of hoping to find something more off-road oriented and ended up stumbling across the Ecomobile M24, which is an all-wheel drive, full suspension electric mountain board. And that thing was pretty awesome, but man, it was just a little bit too much for me. I mean, I was great at riding the board, I could do it, but the throttle response on that thing was pretty jerky. It made me feel like I was gonna fall off anytime I just even tried to start the board. It weighed 60 pounds. It was not easy to move around unless you were riding it. And overall, it was just a little bit bulky of an experience. So I didn't get as much use out of that thing as I wanted to. I traded my P.E.V.s and paid some cash to get that Ecomobile, and as much as it was pretty awesome, it just didn't feel right for me. It took up too much space in my small apartment, so I ended up selling that and hopefully saving up for an e-bike. Browsing through Facebook Marketplace, one day I found a Jetson Bolt for $50, so you know I had to go scoop that up. Obviously a Jetson Bolt is not the most exhilarating ride to have, but it was pretty fun just to scoot around town on that. And as many of you know or have seen from some of my previous videos, my latest addition to the P.E.V. collection is an Aerial Rider X-Class 52 volt. That e-bike has been great to me. I've already put over 800 miles, getting close to 900 now, just from riding it through town this summer, and I love that thing. It's awesome just being able to go over anything that you want, conquer anything, fly through the streets, not having to worry about what you're hitting with the little e-skate tires. These definitely got to be paying attention to the road when you're riding e-bike. Those big fat tires can crush just about anything. As much as I love that bike, I will always have a sweet spot for the e-skates. And there's just no better feeling than hopping on a skateboard and flying 30 miles an hour. So fun being able to just cruise up any hill you want on an electric skateboard and not having to push or pedal. I remember biking this as a kid and dying at the top of the hill trying to make it up this whole way. Now I can just glide up it easily. So let me know what content you guys want to see more of on the electric skateboard. I mean, I love getting this thing out. I just don't know what you guys want to see. I mean, I could do some more rides, maybe try to do some group rides with some of my buddies, or there's a big PGH one-wheel group near Pittsburgh, which is close to where I live, and they like to meet up and do some pretty impressive group rides. So that might be fun to take you guys out on, either on this or on the Aerial Rider. So in total, I've put about 5,000 miles on all the electric vehicles I own, and man, I just love it. There's really nothing that's quite like riding a P.E.V. flying down the street on your own. I suggest to anyone who's on the fence about getting something like an electric skateboard or an e-bike to just go ahead and do it. It's something I look forward to every day after work, just going out for a nice cruise by myself or with some friends, and there's just nothing quite like it. So if there's anything you'd like to know about P.E.V.s, please drop a comment down below. I'd love to help any of you guys out with any questions you have, or if there's anything you'd like to see videos on, I'd be happy to post those as well. Love going around these parking lines. It's like an imaginary cone setup to carve through. Could run down to the bank, go put some money in. An electric skateboard or any sort of P.E.V. is pretty much the perfect way to get around any local small town, or especially a big city. Rip across the street. Get up on here. I'm gonna cruise down to the bank. Oh, that rock literally just flung up and hit me in the glasses. And get across the bridge. Over this big bump. Here we are crossing the bridge. It's a nice view, nice way to get on the other side of town. Might just have to take the new off-road trail that they just finished that leads the whole way into the other local town, and then I can make it back up home from there. Off we go through a nice another little trail around town. This will lead us up to a beautiful parking lot. steepest hill. Damn, they fucked this thing up. They got a bunch of tracks in from an excavator or something. Let's see if I can make it up this bumpy road. Yeah, they totally messed up all my ridges and stuff. It is a perfect day to be out though. Like I said, if you're on the fence about buying some sort of electric vehicle, just go out and do it, man. The investment's a lot at first, but nothing can compare to the amount of fun and more time you'll have outside, and the joy of riding around, meeting some new people. Save you money on gas, be a way more fun way to go down and do your local errands and trips. There's just so many benefits. Go try out the mic, see how well it does recording audio from far away. Go carve through these little blocks here. 3, 2, 1, go. Uh-oh, sounds like I have a broken belt. Oh God. Well, not gonna do that. Oh. I have no belt. This is gonna be quite the interesting ride back home. I don't think I have any spares at home either. She gone. All right, well, thankfully we still have 3 bars of battery left. We're gonna have to somehow limp this thing on one motor back home. I don't think there's gonna be any way I'm gonna be able to take the off-road path back. Let's make sure that we don't have any belt or teeth missing out of this side too. I think we're pretty good over there. Well, this will be interesting. Guess we just changed up the video. Broken belt time. This has happened to me before, and I've honestly actually happened at this exact same spot, and I'm a whole town over from where I need to be. So we're gonna try limping this board back home. Now I've done this before, like I said, but it's a little hard on the board since you're only using one motor to get yourself back home. So kind of want to be as gentle as you can. You also got to remember that your braking distances are going to be much worse because you only have one motor slowing you down instead of 2. Basically, I'm just gonna try to kick push myself to get started. Try to keep a constant speed. You're not gonna really be able to accelerate super hard. Yeah, I got enough to keep you going, but that other motor's just whirring away. You just kind of want to keep yourself at a constant speed and go easy on the board. I just felt the brakes there, and that's a whole lot of nothing, so I'm gonna have to be careful with that too. This is the easy part of the trek. Getting out of this town is gonna be all straight uphill, so that'll be a little bit interesting figuring that out. But once we get past that and get up that major hill, then it's basically all downhill back to my house. So I can just take it easy. Just make it while I got a chance. But there's no cars. And then hopefully I can just make my way over here onto the sidewalk. I'll let you watch the motors this run. You can hear that one going. See if you can make it over these bumps. That one's whirring away. See if I can make it up this hill. Full power ahead. Wow, surprisingly, one belt's making it up. All right. Made it up that steep section. Gotta cut across to the sidewalk down here. Probably gonna end up overheating this motor by the time I make it up this hill, but honestly just kind of want to see if it can do it. Wow, I am impressed. I did not think it was going to be that easy getting it up here. I'll do a little motor temperature check when we get back in. Well, made it to the downhill, ready to get back home. I had checked on the way up here, and the motor really did not seem that hot, which I was pretty surprised by, especially coming up that big hill. But I think they're both 900 or 1,000 watt motors, so one's definitely plenty enough power to get me going up these hills. Definitely got to get some belts on order. I'm actually surprised at the speed we're keeping up. I'm doing it pretty good. It says I'm going 31, but I know the other motor's probably spinning 31, causing that reading. But so once we get down this road, it's pretty flat, and it's basically all downhill from there. So I think we should be fine to make it home.